Hey guys, so maybe you're like me and you're single on this Valentine's Day, or maybe you're part of a couple, but you just don't really enjoy romantic comedy type movies, but you still want to watch something with a bit of a Valentine's theme. Well, I've got you covered. I've got a list of movies that I like to watch around Valentine's Day that are sort of non romantic Valentine's movies, I guess. Well, they're mainly scary movies, and look, I'm not trying to say that I don't like romantic comedy movies. I definitely do. There's even a movie coming out soon called The Lost City, which I think looks really good. But I don't always feel like watching them, and this Valentine's Day, I feel like watching something a little bit scary. So maybe there's people out there that are like me. So number one is Valentine. So Valentine is from 2001, but even though it's from 2001, it very much feels like a movie from the 90s. It's one of those 90s slasher movies that I love. Are they good movies? No, but they're entertaining. Not every movie needs to be good to be entertaining. So you can rent this on YouTube. I'll be talking about where you can watch these movies for free, and if you can't watch it for free somewhere, where you can rent it. So basically, this is about a group of women who rejected a guy in high school, and then later on in life, on Valentine's Day, he starts to stalk them. And I love a good crazy psycho stalker storyline, and this one, it definitely entertains. So the next one on the list is Crimson Peak. So Crimson Peak is available to watch for free on Disney Plus. So this is a gothic horror story, and I love gothic horror. It's usually centered around a tragic love story, and this is no exception. So this is also a visually gorgeous movie. It is so beautiful to watch. So basically, this woman, played by, I forget the actress's name, but she's a really good actress, marries a man played by Tom Hiddleston, so that's reason enough to watch this movie. So anyway, she moves with him into his mansion after they get married, and the mansion is haunted, and the ghosts are actually friendly ghosts, and they're trying to warn her that her new husband isn't what he appears to be, but he is dangerous. So this movie is definitely not a horror movie, I would say. It's very much like if you've seen The Haunting of Hill House. It's sort of the same vibe. It's a gothic horror story, but the ghosts are just there as a vehicle to represent something. So I wouldn't say it's scary. So if you're not somebody who likes horror typically, this is probably going to be a good choice for you. There isn't really any blood or anything like that. Well, there's a little bit at the end, somebody gets stabbed. I won't say who, but yeah, I think that this is definitely more of a love story. So next up on the list, we have The Invitation. So this is available to watch for free on Amazon Prime. So this is about a couple that get invited for dinner by the man's ex-wife and her new husband, played by Michiel Huisman, who is a great actor. I'm watching something that he's on at the moment, a show that I love called Nashville. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it, but it isn't anything to do with Valentine's Day. So anyway, so they have this couple that are inviting them over, and it's a little weird to be inviting your ex-husband over to meet your new husband. They seem like they're just being really friendly on the surface, but obviously there is ulterior motives. So this is more of a thriller. It's not that bloody, I would say. There is a little bit from memory. I haven't seen this in a while, but yeah, it's definitely not something that I would say is scary in the least. So next up on my list is Gone Girl. So Gone Girl was a pretty big deal when it first came out in 2014, I think. So this is based on a book. It is a mystery thriller. It doesn't really have a lot of blood. It's more leaning towards the thriller aspect, the whodunit aspect of the movie. So basically this is available pretty much everywhere, Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime. you've probably got something where you can watch this movie. So I would say this is definitely my least favourite movie on the list, but because it's about a couple on their wedding anniversary, I thought it was really appropriate. So the man, Nick Dunn, and his wife Amy are having their wedding anniversary, and Amy disappears, and everybody thinks that Nick did it, but it's not as simple as it seems to be. So this is definitely a movie I enjoyed, don't get me wrong, I liked it, but it's just not something that I would say I would watch again. Next up is Ready or Not, available to watch on Disney+. So Grace, played by Samara Weaving, who did a great job in this role, is a woman who marries into a wealthy family. So I thought with the wedding, it was a very appropriate movie. And this is a really good movie I've seen several times. So basically, this wealthy family have this game that they play that seems to be fairly innocent. So when somebody marries into the family, they play hide and seek. Yeah, I know it sounds really weird, but it's a family tradition, so Grace goes along with it. And soon she discovers that there is a very sinister and violent tradition behind the game. So anyway, it's a really good movie. The ending is fairly amazing. Honestly, I would say the ending of this movie is probably one of my favourite endings in horror movies, so I highly recommend this movie. So this movie is one that a lot of people haven't actually heard of. So A Perfect Getaway from 2009, which is available to rent on YouTube, is a horror movie about this couple who go on a vacation in Hawaii. And part of the reason that I love this movie is the beautiful setting of Hawaii. And I love Hawaii. I love horror, so I was bound to enjoy this movie, and it also has a great cast. There's Mila Jovovich, Chris Hemsworth, there is Timothy Olyphant, and they all are really good in this movie. So it's about this couple who go on their honeymoon in Hawaii, and there's this crazy serial killer who is hunting down tourists on the island. So obviously they're tourists on the island and they are worried that they're going to be next. And obviously it's a horror movie, so bad things happen to them, and it's a really entertaining movie. It's got a bit of a mystery, a bit of a whodunit angle to it. So I highly recommend this. So What Lies Beneath is available on Disney+. So this is about a woman who starts to suspect that her husband isn't everything that he seems to be on the surface. So this is a good old-fashioned ghost story, a haunted house story. And I would say this is probably one of my favourite ghost stories of all time. This is just a movie that isn't a good movie, but it is an entertaining movie, like I said earlier about Valentine. It's one of those 90s sort of movies, even though it was made in 2000, you know, it's got the 90s vibes that I love, and it just feels so nostalgic for that time period. So we've got Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford in this, playing the couple. So they move into this new house and it's haunted, and the ghosts are tying in somehow with her husband. And yeah, I would say this is probably one of my top movies on my list. So next up on my list is The Invisible Man, which is available to watch on Netflix. So this is a remake of an old movie. So The Invisible Man is a really good movie. I loved this movie when I saw it at the cinemas. I thought it was really well done, and it had so much tension and suspense in it, because the woman's husband, Adrian, he is just this invisible menace in the movie the whole time, and you're wondering, where is he? Is he in the room right now with her? And it is very emotionally triggering, possibly for some women, because it is about domestic abuse. Obviously, a lot of these movies that I'm talking about are about abusive situations and love gone wrong and stalkers and all of that. So yeah, just a bit of a warning there. So last but definitely not least is Bram Stoker's Dracula. So I personally haven't seen this myself. It's what I plan on watching for Valentine's Day myself this year. So I've always just thought that Dracula had a very romantic feel about it as a horror movie. Obviously, like I said, I haven't seen this, but I've seen like the Dracula 2000 with Gerard Butler, which I mainly watched because Gerard Butler, I pretty much love him. And he's also in The Phantom of the Opera, which would be a good movie for Valentine's Day, actually. It's definitely not a rom-com, but it is a romance. Anyway, so there's also Dracula Untold, which did really badly at the box office. So it was meant to like kick off the dark universe, and then it flopped, and then that flopped, and now they're starting to try to get it back up and running again because they have The Invisible Man, which did really well. But personally, I really liked Dracula Untold. And there's also The Queen of the Damned, which was another really good vampire movie with amazing music behind it. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So it's not a very romantic movie, but it does have a love story within it. So yeah, you could probably watch that if you wanted to. It's a movie I really enjoy. But yeah, I'm excited to watch this. It's got Keanu Reeves, it's got Carrie Elwes, who I really like as an actor. So if you've seen it, let me know what you think of it. Let me know what your picks are to watch for non-romantic Valentine's Day movies. I would really like to know your suggestions. Please give this video a like if you got any value from it. And if you want to see more videos from me, if you could subscribe, turn on the bell, all of that stuff. Thanks, guys.